Let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like you're capable of more, but something keeps on holding you back? That's where Phil comes in. Phil is a professional master coach and a master practitioner in NLP, timeline therapy and hypnotherapy with years of real-world experience building and growing businesses. His passion is simple: helping you reimagine your life or your business, break through limitations and build unstoppable momentum for good. Whether you want a powerful one-off session or ongoing support where Phil walks you through every step of the way, everything is tailored to you and your goals. If you're ready for real, lasting change, Phil might be exactly who you've been looking for. To find out more on what Phil does, just visit philhanlon.com for more information. George & Co. create crafted spaces that stand the test of time. Royal Society of Architects Wales award winners, and Wales Home of the Year regional winners. Featured on TV and in leading magazines, they are based in Merthyr and Swansea, designing exceptional homes across Wales. They proudly sponsor today's episode.
Anyone need a wee?
Do you need a
No,
That's a question we've never asked.
There you are.
Does a guest need a wee before we
I
start?
got kids, mate.
yeah.
Before we go,
Yeah,
do we
That's
need a
true.
wee?
That's good. That's a good point. That's our intro.
How's our intro?
Sorted. We are back at Grounded Wellness and... is it wellness? Grounded Coffee and Wellness?
Coffee and
And
wellness.
wellness.
Grounded. I just know it's Grounded. And it's really cool. We're back here in the home of Tidy Butt in Sebastopol, which isn't Cwmbran and isn't Pontypool, it's Sebastopol.
Yes.
As I was corrected last time. So yeah, but yeah, we're back and we are very, very happy indeed to have Elliott Smith with us from Mind Over Mountain.
Good
Thank you very much.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Evening.
It's on a
Welcome.
different time
Thank
zone. I was like that when I went to Lisbon.
Don't say
That'd be a running thing.
no,
now.
no, that's it. No, that's
Okay,
it. It's
I'll
done.
stop. Yeah, Elle, thanks for joining us.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
You're one of those individuals who I think fell into my lap as we
Metaphorically, I hope.
metaphorically. But yeah, I came across you online on Instagram, and I saw it right from the very beginning, I suppose. And you had just done maybe one or two posts.
Yeah.
You were just organising your first walk, and I was instantly very intrigued. And I don't know if that was by design that things were left a bit open-ended for you to get people on board and then share your story.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, when I did the first event, which was Cold Water Dip, and you kind of prefaced it by really kind of opening up in front of complete strangers and saying, listen, this is my story, I was a bit, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That, and I went away from it with my mate Jack, and I said, was it just me? I said, or was that? I said that was cool, right? I said, because for you to just kind of do this real kind of nice community-based thing, and then be like, oh, by the way, it's a safe space, and the show is a safe space. Bam.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm about. I thought that was really interesting. Was that by design?
No, so it's kind of just fell into place. It felt comfortable to share the story with strangers more so than the people I knew. Just because the judgment wasn't so much there, the connection wasn't so much there. But I was looking for something selfishly to do to get myself back into social circles because I'd ruined so many social circles myself. And this was a way to do it. And I just wanted to bring people together, whoever they may be, not necessarily gone through what I'd gone through or been affected by what I'd gone through. It could be anyone. And then just tell them my story, because I think it is so shocking when you hear it and how far it went. And it's just kept on tumbling and rolling, and everyone's been so positive about it, and the reaction's been amazing. But it wasn't intentional in any way. So,
and I believe that's what they call a hook, because we've alluded to something, but obviously we haven't explained who you are, or why, or why you're here. And I think it's as good a time as any to kind of hand it over, really. Yeah. So in the most simple, most basic terms, and I want to get this right because I hear so many things about with drink and drugs where the terminology is important. Yeah. In terms of being an addict. Yeah. That are you still classed as a gambling addict?
I will be for the rest of my life.
And that's what I wanted to kind of get right, because I know there's in terms of in the way of terminology, you know, where some people I was a alcoholic, or I was a drug addict, and I was like, yeah, but you know, obviously every day is kind of its own fight.
A lot of people call it compulsive.
Yeah,
they don't say addicted or an addict; they say compulsive gambler when it comes to that term, but. It doesn't bother me either one. I'll always be it for the rest of my life. It will not go away. It's not curable, but it's controllable. Yeah, and that's the difference. So that's what we're working with.
Yeah, and I think when you look and you see adverts on TV, and you see kind of the Bet365 and Paddy Power, and you know, when the fun stops, stop, and all these sayings, and there is an awareness. Of gambling and gambling addiction or compulsive gambling, but I still think that the spotlight, the focus still is on, and it's unfair to say more traditional avenues of drink and drugs, but I still feel that a majority of the focus, if you say someone's an addict,
what's your instinct to think?
The instinct, certainly for me, tends to go drink or drugs.
Yeah.
So I find gambling very, very. I find it very interesting, because I myself don't gamble.
No. Yeah.
I know gamblers. I know people who kind of passively gamble. I know other individuals who very, very similar to yourself who whisk on, you know, the other way. How did it start? I suppose, how did it kind of go from just being kind of something that you do recreationally to something where it's consuming?
When did the fun start?
Yeah, when did the fun start? Where's Winston?
The best part of you bringing that up is what you notice about that slogan is the big highlighted bold word is fun.
Yeah,
and even that has a psychology behind it, which is unbelievable. Yeah, because you're preventive, but you're not. No, it's reverse psychology, if anything. But for me, same as most people, I went to school in an affluent area. I wasn't from that area, so all the people I hung around with always had the money, the new car, and we were turning 18. So the place to go when you're 18 is either clubbing, casino, or a holiday. And the people I was hanging around with wanted to go to the casino. So that was the first time I was ever introduced to it. I never drunk, never did a drug, still to this day. I drink now and then at a social event, but that was about it. Played rugby to a high standard, was going places with it, and then we were going out to celebrate a couple of friends' birthdays. Went to a casino in Cardiff, didn't think anything of it, sat at the table, played a few games, and just had a normal night, as anyone would. Wasn't too much, I'll talk figures, probably like 20-30 quid of the night, and it was a standard figure, and probably left that, didn't think anything of it whatsoever. Come back, start going to the pubs then at that age. So the next thing is sport. So you're watching sport in the pub, it's on the telly, guess the score, why don't we sign up to this account? Oh, right, let's have a look. Oh, we'll match your deposit. Oh, cool, have that. So I don't have a clue about football. Never watched football. Couldn't name anyone apart from your really famous players. I just had no clue whatsoever. And there was a Champions League game on that day. I was in the pub, and I guessed the score correctly. £10 free bet matched. I think I had like £210 back or something like that. And I was like, whoa, something in my head just went,
Easy money.
how easy was that?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And I don't know anything about this. Imagine if I did know something about it.
Yeah.
And then you start asking yourself all these questions. And it was the same night then Anthony Joshua was fighting Andy Ruiz. So I took half the money, and then I put another bet on Andy Ruiz to win in round, I don't know, 6, 7 or 8 or what it was at the time. Hit it again. And that was a lot of money. This was like over £1,000 now, because that round for him to win was a ridiculous odd.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And now I'm just like 18 years old, in school, this money's hit my bank. Wow. Didn't cause any problems at this point, because I had some sort of, I wanted this, I wanted that, or I had some dreams back then. But yeah, then there was some money left in that account, and I'd probably done a couple accumulators, which I'd never really done before, and they just lost. But it was a pound here, a pound there, nothing crazy. And then I had an email, and it said, you got 25 free spins on the slots. And I think this is where my life began to change. I found the slots. So I moved over, played these 25 free spins, and I didn't realise then, it didn't tell me that the free spins were up, and it automatically started taking from my funds, available funds that were mine, which was only, I think it would have been about £100 at that time. I say only. It's not justifiable at all, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it started taking out, but I didn't realise, and it was £5 a spin automatic it set, which is a lot. And the third spin, it took me to what they call a bonus. So anyone who plays slots knows you want to get the bonus, because that's where the money is. You don't want to play the ordinary slot because it's just not fun for a gambler.
Yeah.
So I've hit this bonus, and it's paid me £235 just from getting this bonus. And I'll remember it to this day. It was New Year's Eve, and it was a Monopoly game, and it had a wheel and your chance, your community chest, your Mayfair and everything. And I hit a community chest, and it brought up a load of chests. I didn't know what was going on. I'd never played slots. I was just following all these random flashing things that are going on. Pick this, pick that. And I picked a chest, and it said open all. And I opened them all, and it times that £235, and it brought me a figure of £22,834.
Wow. Oh my God.
And I sat there, and I went cold. And I was like, am I reading this number right? It doesn't feel like...
Yeah.
So I stopped, and I said to the people I was with at the time, and I said, can you read that number? And they were like, 22,834. And I was like, I've just won that. And everyone in the house was like, wow. So I was like, right. So I rushed home, went to my mum and dad's, and they were like, right, calm yourself down. It's not in your bank.
Yeah.
This is abnormal. Like, until it hits your bank, let's wait and see.
Yeah.
So couldn't sleep that night. Crazy. I messaged them. It was jackpot joy. Messaged them. They said, we need your ID, 2 proof. I was like, oh, here we go. Passport, driver's license, send it over. It was back when PayPal was big, and everything was going into my PayPal account.
Yeah.
For 12 hours, it was in my PayPal account.
Wow.
All of it.
Oh, wow.
So I couldn't withdraw it all in one. You had to do it in increments.
Yeah.
So I had 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, and I had to keep doing that.
Oh, wow.
Another 12 hours later, all in my bank account at 19 years of age. So I had because of my background, my parents gave me everything as a kid. Everything. I didn't value money. I didn't know anything about it. I wasn't taught it in school. I wasn't ever just knowledgeable about finance at all. Right, I'm going to Mexico. Wicked. I'm going to finance a car, good deposit. I wasn't thinking house or anything like that. Fast forward 2 weeks, everything's gone.
Oh.
So nights out, private hire of a room, this, that, everything. Buy everything in the Apple store. Everyone knows I've won this money now. I look like the king at this age. Oh my God, did you see Elliott? He's got 25 grand. We're on nights out with people, famous YouTubers. And it was just crazy. And that was all in the space of 2-3 weeks. This is when the isolation began, because I had to keep up this front then.
Yeah.
So I was an apprentice electrician at the time, so I wasn't in big money, but it was a good path to be on. But this is where the problem came, because I had to start funding and finding funds to prove that I was okay. My mum and dad were asking, everything all right? And yeah, fine. Pay every bill's paid. And then I was like, right, to get it back, easiest option is what I was doing anyway.
Yeah.
Let's gamble. Half salary, make sure bills were paid. Rest of my salary now, 50%. Let's make it back to that 25 grand. Obviously didn't happen. Bills started to get missed. Would lean on my parents a bit more then. I don't earn that much, and start lying. Right, can't cover it, payday loan. Let's get the payday loan. Well, I've gambled that. I need another payday loan to pay that one. And I think I had about 8 payday loans that I was managing. So those costs, what, each payday loan, 150, 200 pound a month, 8 of them, plus you're gambling, plus you've got your bills.
Yeah.
Panic starts to set in then. Tell you what, to get a personal loan, cover it all, pay them all off, and just pay one monthly payment for a longer time. Manageable. I've got a big sum of money now. Quick time, double, gone. I've just doubled my debt, not doubled anything. Yeah. It's a scary time now. And this was happening for about a year, 2 years. The thing is, you do win. That goes without saying. And you have the chance to clear everything. But you don't realise what's happening at all.
Right.
And that's pretty much how it all started.
Do you think back now, like going through that? Do you think back and say, well, that was something stupid to do, or do you feel that it was just the wrong place at the wrong time sort of thing?
95% of people can control it. They can control their gambling. There's 5% of us, I would say, that can't. So I would never shun anyone from it, because I think people have the problem. They have the illness. It's in them. Yeah. And I could have noticed it from a younger age. I always wanted the newest thing, and I'd do anything to get it. And I was compulsive in that area. And I was playing rugby in front of large crowds and loving that. And I was just so caught up in a bubble. And then when that stopped and I had to fend for myself, it then became a worry. Yeah. And I was like, hey, do I keep up this persona, this lifestyle? Now I'm relying on myself at this young age, which was a scary thing.
Well, yeah. 19,
definitely.
18, 19, definitely.
But I definitely regret it.
Yeah.
Every second.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because I found it interesting when you were saying, that you were in an affluent area. You weren't around people that you'd normally be with. And you did have to put on the persona, you've got to kind of be the equivalent to like a local Ric Flair almost, be the limousine riding and the jet, because that's what you've got to do to keep up appearances, because it's cutthroat. We've all experienced, those, especially that time in life, when you're going through teenage years into early adolescence, into early adulthood, where it becomes a kind of who goes up here and who gets left behind.
For sure.
So I can to a degree kind of empathize with that, because I always wanted to appear a certain way, and I would do, I suppose you could regard it as like silly things, like we'd go for Nando's. There'd be 3 or 4 of us, and I'd make a point of paying for everybody. Even though I knew I would then spend time worrying about, oh my God, I've just paid an extra 30, 40 quid that I haven't really got. But I've done it so that I get that quick buzz of, haven't you been nice? Yeah. And it's all ego, it's all kind of ego driven. So I found it interesting, like you say, that was kind of a driver for you. to kind of push you further and further in, because obviously, as you said, when you go and you buy in Apple stuff and you get in a new car, or when you go to Mexico, it's the image, isn't it? Because it takes a lot to go from that to well, I'm not driving a Merc or a Beamer or whatever it is anymore. I'm going on holidays to Mexico. I'm now driving, like a banged up Clio, and we're going like the Pontins.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's but that's understand. I understand that.
But it's mad because I think it was doing the buzz for yourself. Nowadays, it's for Instagram, it's for social media, but it wasn't around back.
No. It wasn't so
around.
high, no.
And you could generally tell that it was just for you, and you were buzz alone, like.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm interested as well in. You obviously said that you don't take drugs, you kind of rarely drink, you socially drink. How much of that was personal preference versus the potential for a kind of subconscious, almost like a damage limitator, if that makes sense? Because I can only imagine that had you been intoxicated as well, that your decision making would have been much less rational, if it was rational, which obviously it wasn't.
No.
But then you can kind of think it would have been even less so.
There's an excuse on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people I meet that goes hand in hand with drugs and drink, and they'll have a complete gambling meltdown during those times, which was why, for me, it was completely bizarre, because that wasn't the case. Pre-18, I'd never even been on a night out. I hadn't tried fake IDs. I hadn't been to a nightclub. because at the rugby, I was so hell bent on becoming professional that alcohol just wasn't even a thing for me. And being taught in school from a young age, this is what drugs and alcohol can do.
Yeah.
That kind of hit me.
Yeah.
And so no, I think then once I started gambling, I think this was causing so much damage that it did become preventive, because I didn't want to go into anything else, because I knew how destructive it would be, and the dangers it was causing. I was already in such a hole.
Because when the gambling kind of took hold, was it even in your mind of, like my rugby's potentially at risk here, or this is, or was it, or well, it's okay, because as long as I can keep making this money, I haven't got to worry about it.
So I had to make a decision between rugby and then getting paid.
Yeah.
So I took the electrical apprenticeship.
Okay.
But then,
which is fair.
Yeah.
And I think lots of people are in that boat.
Yeah, but then 3 years into that apprenticeship, I got offered a job with the Welsh Rugby Union as a coach. And I took it, and I left. I had 1 year left to become a qualified electrician. And I think my mind was just so hell-bent on other things that I was not seeing clearly in any way, shape or form. And I would just move to something new all the time, just to keep things exciting for myself, because my brain was just... We talk about ADHD and stuff like that. I honestly think it goes hand in hand with gambling.
Absolutely.
I was bouncing from one job to another. I was self-sabotaging every job without realising it. So I did teaching assistant. I was sat in the toilet gambling on the toilet while the class is waiting for me in there. Rugby coaching, I just dip off to the side. Yeah, good job, guys. And it was just affecting every single job that I had.
Were you buying stuff on the side? Is it so when you were doing the gambling? Were you thinking, coming across something? Oh, I need that. I'll buy that. Bang.
This is one of the funniest things that I find about gambling. Right, so I could justify depositing £500 into a gambling account.
Yeah.
But if I'd add 5 T-shirts into a basket on, I don't know, Abercrombie or Hollister, I couldn't justify checking out.
They'd be sat in my basket.
And I would never pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's where I started losing my identity, hygiene, the way I was dressing. I didn't buy clothes for probably 6-7 years.
Bloody hell.
I just waited for Mum for Christmas or whatever, because I couldn't justify it, because I couldn't afford it. But it was just a vicious cycle in my mind that wouldn't allow me to program that way. But yeah, I could deposit thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands.
Well, yeah, and I suppose, if you look at it, I know 30 quid, 40 quid for a T-shirt as they are these days, if not more, right?
Yeah.
And you sat there thinking, well, say if I have that T-shirt, I can put that 30 or 40, and I may win 300. I may win 30.
Yeah, because I've done that.
Yeah.
I've had £10 and put it to 10,000.
Yeah.
And that 1 in a million chance I've done, which gives me the hope, and took everything else away from me.
Is it? I'd imagine, because I'll be honest. As I said, I've never gambled in the true sense.
Yeah.
We do the Grand National. I run a lottery in the village for £5 a week type thing. But I've never kind of had kind of high stakes, high reward type thing. Is there that feeling though where when you've hit the top of that mountain, as it were, that peak, is it then I got to get back up there? But knowing that deep down, even if you reach the summit, it's never going to be enough because you're going to still want more.
I think this was the case when I really knew I had a problem, and it was self-identified, because I always say, at first I was chasing the money, and then when I was starting to get in a hole, it was about just being able to get back to normality, because I was getting so deep in debt. It wasn't about winning anymore. Yeah, it was about just trying to get back to zero to be able to live.
Yeah,
and that was a real struggle, which is when the bets became more, which when it caused more destruction when you actually lose again, because you're just getting further and further and further away. Whereas in the end, I'd had to win my biggest ever win 5 times in order to get back to zero.
And that's mad.
Yeah, and you could have put probably in the middle time, you could have put £1 million on that dotted line, and I'd probably still press the button to carry on.
And
because it become emotionless.
But, and the thing is you get to a point where even when you get to zero, you're still in that danger zone because you've only got to go and buy a pint of milk, and you're back in the red, and then it kind of like, how do I get out to it?
Exactly. 2 years ago, I would have been £9,000 in debt. To this day now, I'm 125,000. So the last 2 years have been so destructive in my gambling, because I was trying to get that 9,000 that it took another 110,000 off me, 112,000 off me, in that vicious cycle, which is so hard to comprehend.
Well, it is, isn't it? Because you think to yourself, how does and I always get quite wound, I suppose, because you hear it a lot when people talk about like weight, and they say, well, how do they let themselves get that big? How do they let themselves, get that unhealthy?
Yeah.
Why didn't they do so? But people don't seem to realise is when you're in the middle of it, you are desperately trying to do something about it, but you're scrambling and you're clawing and scratching, and there's no ground being made. So, I don't know.
You can go the opposite of that, though. It's like you can be getting bigger in your health. Your body weight can be getting bigger because you're addicted to that comfort eating. But on the flip side, you could be anorexically terrible because you're addicted to the gym and getting, and fitness.
It's funny you bring this up, because I went from an athletic shape up to just over 16 stone as a 5'7" bloke, or 5'8", I like to say. But
I'm not gonna.
But I'd gone up to just over 16 stone, and I looked massive, and I never even noticed because it just wasn't even a thing. But I find comfort in food, because I couldn't find comfort in someone. I couldn't tell anyone this story.
Of course,
I couldn't. It was so. That was the only thing that gave me something, and that was one of the first things I wanted to tackle when I stopped. It was like my appearance again, and I managed to do that. So I lost 4 stone.
Fair play. And that's it is, isn't it? And I think that's it's both the beauty and the tragedy of the human condition, is we can allow ourselves to get to that point, but then we can also bring ourselves way back the other way.
Let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like you're capable of more, but something keeps on holding you back? That's where Phil comes in. Phil is a professional master coach and a master practitioner in NLP, timeline therapy and hypnotherapy, with years of real-world experience building and growing businesses. His passion is simple: helping you reimagine your life or your business, break through limitations, and build unstoppable momentum for good. Whether you want a powerful one-off session or ongoing support where Phil walks you through every step of the way, everything is tailored to you and your goals. If you're ready for real, lasting change, Phil might be exactly who you've been looking for. To find out more what Phil does, just visit philhanlon.com for more information.
In the real midst of it, when it was at its very worst, take us through what an average day looked like.
Yeah. So I was working shifts. I was working 12-hour shifts. So I'd do 2 days, 2 nights, and I'd have 4 days off. The worst, I was probably doing 8 hours a day. So I was doing it during my shift, on the breaks on that shift. And then I'd leave, the kids would be in bed. And I'd get home, they'd be in bed. So it's still just me.
Yeah.
And what's my comfort? What am I doing? Yeah. So I'd sit on the sofa for hours. I'd be in the bathroom for too long. I'd take an extra 2 hours going to do the food shop. It was every part of my day. It became a habit.
And it was all slots. You weren't going in and
blackjack and slots.
Yeah, you weren't kind of thinking, I'm just doing anything. To that. Like I will take a look at that football.
No. It was always blackjack and slots, always, because I felt like I knew the strategic way, and I'd become somewhat comfortable in knowing like how things are going to pay out and how much I put in, but clearly I bloody didn't.
Did because I always, again, can you kind of put yourself in a position, or was there ever a kind of a desire, I suppose, to move away from the phone and think, right, well, I'm going to go to these casinos, or I'm going to go to Leicester Square where they got all that massive ring of or I'm going to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
And you think you go to Vegas, you probably don't come back, do you?
No. It's the one promise I've made to myself in my life, that I would never ever go to Vegas.
And you do hear of it. You hear of compulsive gamblers going to it and they don't come back.
Well, I tried, because I knew now I had the compulsion. I tried to slow it down by cutting off the phone and just trying to go into the Betfred and sitting on a slot. So I tried to limit it.
Yeah.
It just didn't work in any way, shape or form.
That's the thing, see, is like you've got, I'll get 50 quid out in coins.
Yeah.
Once that's gone, I'm done.
Yeah.
But then what's next to you at cash machine?
This is the problem. I went to Vegas 13, 14 years ago, and we would go in...
Not Lisbon.
No, it wasn't Lisbon. It was very, very much not Lisbon. It was Vegas. But we would go in on a day trip to the Hoover Dam. And they said, right, everyone get up early and whatever. And obviously these hotels are...
Yeah.
They're works of art, but they're also, from a kind of a psychologist's point of view, they're impeccably designed to take you... And I told everybody, Las Vegas is the only place on the planet I've ever been where everything is designed to take money off you. Everything.
Yep.
You go to most hotels, if you want Wi-Fi, there's Wi-Fi in the room. If you want an extra pillow, because I haven't enough, no problem. So there's an extra pillow in the cupboard above the bed. In Vegas, you want a pillow, you pay for a pillow. You want Wi-Fi, you pay for it. But we had to walk through the casino to get out to the hotel. So you go in for the front, and it's all the hotel branding, and you walk in. If you're on, I'm in a casino. And you just see this little shade of light in the distance, which is the actual hotel. So you have to walk through this huge building.
Yeah.
And I always remember there was an old guy, when he was there, the old school with
the old cha-ching.
And he had a pot like that. And I mean, it was like that, full of money. And we left at maybe 7:45 in the morning, and he was boom, boom, boom. And we came back at 5:25 in the evening, and he was still sat there.
Yeah.
My God.
And I thought to myself, that's
yeah.
I don't know.
I've done 28 hours straight.
God.
Which is, like I said, like at the time, you do it, but you're doing it because you've got to get to zero. I've got to get money
Yeah,
back.
your mind blanks. You don't care about anyone. You don't care about anything. You don't eat. You are just tunnel vision on this thing. And it's funny you speak about casinos in Vegas, because even though I've never been, I know all about it.
Oh, never.
I know the architects that put the machines in specific places and pump smells, and the rooms designed with a certain type of carpet so you can't actually find the exit. And these are all real things that they
crazy.
do
like they pump
to keep you in there.
Yeah, like you.
There's not a clock in any casino.
You won't find a clock in casinos in Vegas. Very rarely you'll see any natural light. It's all artificial. They're pumping like oxygen to keep people awake. It is because I always remember watching a documentary, and I found it amazing because it was a series of different things showing about like the human mind, and they were saying that nightclubs and bars, when they have like a DJ or whatever, they would tell the DJ every third or fourth song play something that's not doing well in the charts. To remind people to go to the bar to have a drink. Because if you're up dancing or whatever, you don't think about it. But then if you think, oh, well, I'm not fussing this song, I'll go and get a drink.
Yeah.
And it's the same reason as years ago at the pubs, you used to have pork scratchings and peanut and heavily salted foods on the bar. Because the drier your mouth is, the more likely you want to have a drink.
That's true.
I find the psychology of that type of thing really interesting. So you're isolated. You're kind of going through it on your own, but as you alluded to, there are family members about.
Yeah.
Was it a conscious thing of I can't involve them? I don't want to get them involved. I don't want to be seen that I'm struggling. Or
so about 3 years in, I did get them involved. This is when I realised something was up, because I did something. I'll tell you that story now. I went into a casino. I lost all my money from my salary that day. And there was a company called Amigo Loans at the time, which everyone knows. It's like 10,000% APR. Yeah. Whatever it was at the time. And it was a guarantor loan. So I'd need someone to be a guarantor on this loan for me. So I'm in the casino, I've lost everything to my name, and I need money. So I managed to get a £12,000 loan at 20 years of age. I pretended to be the guarantor with a fake email address.
Wow.
Obviously, my mum then received letters and realised, and we spoke about it. But I managed to spend that £12,000 in about an hour and 20 minutes. And it was in my bank within 40 minutes of application.
Yeah, that's
And
incredible.
This is where I flipped, and I thought, what have I just done? And I was driving home, and I just wanted to crash, because I knew letters were going to come to the house, everything was going to come out, my debt was going to come out. It was probably about 27 grand at this point. And I went home, made it home, which was luck by itself. Got into the shower, and the shower in my house was under the stairs. And I text my dad everything that happened, what I'd done, and I just shared coming down the stairs.
Oh, wow.
And my heart, my panic, and I just chucked the towel on. And he come out, and we had a bit of a barney, and he left the house.
Wow.
He didn't come back till the next day. And he came back and he said, I found the money, don't you ever do this again. I'll pay you out once and once only.
Yeah.
And my grandparents bailed me out. And my dad had to pay off that debt within a year for me, which he did. So they came, I did the tears, I cried. I did feel it, I felt it. I was horrified by what I'd done, and I was always horrified by what I was doing. But I had no control over the addiction, and I didn't know how to control it, because there isn't any help. Not really.
No.
And this is another thing I'm sure we'll come on to, but probably 3 weeks after that, I went back in and started again. Even though they bailed me out, which then put more pressure on me not telling anyone again, because no fault of their own. They didn't keep tabs on me or question or take my bank or things that should have been done, which now work for me. But they didn't know, because they didn't have the knowledge or education either. So
I don't know how these payday loan companies can still run and survive. Or not survive, because they easily survive. But I don't know how government action hasn't been taken in.
There's a very...
I'm very lucky that got wiped. It got wiped out because it was wrongfully given to me.
Okay.
And I was very lucky, but I had to put 5 years of work into doing that on my own. Obviously, I did everything I could to get any sort of money.
Yeah.
So I made it a priority.
But also from a legal perspective as well, lucky as well that it didn't then backfire the other way. And done
for
fraud.
sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because of it, you're kind of you impersonate an identity of a person identifiable individual in order to get money.
And that was my instant thought processes I need to tell.
Yeah.
We did it all together then. So it was like...
It's a good few years old now, but there was a Netflix series called Dirty Money, and every episode looked at different things. One of them was Volkswagen cars, where basically Volkswagen did the dirty on everybody.
Oh, the emissions thing.
With the emission scandal. But one of them was around like the payday loans, and they were showing this like a call center was in America somewhere, but they would hike the prices.
Yeah.
And as you said, they weren't doing adequacy checks, they weren't doing affordability.
No.
They were just...
And when you're desperate, you don't look at that.
No. And
you just look if you've been accepted. Yeah,
exactly.
Great.
Yeah.
And they were, and they were just looking at who is desperate, who's desperate enough that they're not going to look.
Exactly.
We'll have them, and then the thing is the deeper in the hole they go, the more we can pile on them, and they'll we'll forever have money because they'll never pay it off.
No.
So obviously, you kind of had an intervention of sorts. As you said, it got paid off, but it didn't last.
Yeah.
What's been the kind of the saving grace then? What's been the secret sauce that's made you think, right, enough is enough?
So my last bet was on the 25th of July 2025. It took all my salary. I got it up to a big amount, about 7,500, and I just blew it all again in about 15 minutes. Playing blackjack, because I was going crazy at this point. And I was on my 12-hour night shift, and I just... my relationship had already broke down because of all my lies, all my deceit, my unfaithfulness, everything around me, self-sabotage, like I said. That has already been going, so I just had an effort moment and just carried on gambling because it was my only source of some sort of I'm in control. Obviously wasn't, and I just thought this has got to be it now. I can't deal anymore. So I went up to the office and I filmed a video of myself, which is about 7 minutes long, explaining the truth, because I knew if I'd gone to individuals and spoke face to face, I would have just lied. I'd have said half this amount, half that amount, but just so I get some help, and I wouldn't have told the truth, and I'd probably still be gambling today. But I sat there, I did a video, sent it out to everyone affected. I just put my phone face down, tears, everything. I was just broken. I was already on disciplinaries, about to lose my job, and that was the final nail in the coffin, which happened 2 weeks after. And I then decided, whatever everyone responds, it's a new beginning now. There's the only way, despite losing this job, because it's pretty much inevitable. I'm on my 8th disciplinary. It's like how I survived that long, I'll never know. But that day both being the worst and the best day of my life, because it changed everything. That was a Friday night. The Monday, I'd vouched to take myself to Gambling Anonymous. I tried NHS, I tried therapists, but they are not gamblers. No. They do not understand. No. They understand on paper, and I get that, and they try their best. But to sit in a room for the first time ever with, I think the Newport meeting I went to, there's only 5 of us in the room. But to hear that from people like me would change my entire life. And I met a very specific person that day, who was the first ever person to check on me every day, ask me about it, and then decided to take me to Cardiff. Because the Newport meeting and the Cardiff meeting, they're very different in how they run. Yeah. And then the Cardiff meeting changed my life completely. There's about 22 people there. Wow. With a vast array of stories, from Forex trading to just playing solitaire to just FIFA packs,
Yeah.
which opens up a whole other can of worms. And then some people like me that are slots and casinos and that sort of stuff, and that's changed my life now. And I'm 219 days gamble free. So
Well then.
Well done.
Appreciate
Well
that,
done.
thank you.
Yeah, I think that's all we can say is well done.
Yeah.
So that individual, obviously, because I guess, you know, they acted almost like a sponsor of sorts. I suppose.
yeah, but he's also on his journey as well. So
Yeah.
to do that for me it's
Yeah.
been life changing, and I can't wait for him to give me my 1 year pin when I get it, because
Yeah.
that's going to be like an amazing moment. And he's just had his a couple of weeks ago, and it was incredible.
You know, do you find though that having that shared, you know, that shared journey,
Yeah.
like you said, because you can pick one another. You know, if you get the temptation,
Yeah.
or if there's difficulty or whatever, that you've got one another
Yeah.
to kind of lean on
For sure.
to pull each other back from the brink. But there's still an alarming amount of trust that has to be put into the individual. You know, because
We call it hope
Yeah.
instead of trust now. The trust is gone.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
no, that's
that trust
that.
does not come back.
No.
It's the hope that you can stay off a bit and
yeah.
you can keep on this journey, because the group chat goes off 24/7 with people who are either relapsing, struggling,
Yeah.
suicidal. It is 24/7
Because it's there. It's everywhere you look now.
Yeah.
It's on the brink of the, obviously back in the day of the sport thing where they've banned cigarette adverts.
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
That. But it's still there. Like they say, all they've put is, when you think is enough, stop.
Yeah. And this is what I try to highlight to people is, you might be going about your day, but I can hear the radio doing the advert. I can see
Yeah,
the telly
yeah.
doing the advert. I can see the poster on the bus. I
Yeah.
can see the poster in the bus stop. I can go into a pub where I'm going to try eat for food, and I can hear exactly what game someone's playing and if they're winning or if they're losing. And it's just, in my mind,
It doesn't- it
24/7.
doesn't switch off.
It's
Ever.
like if you're walking across Barry Waterfront or something like that, a slot machine.
Yeah.
To a normal person, that's
You wouldn't
just
even
like,
know
I'm on the seaside.
Yeah.
To you, it's money.
Yeah, it's triggering. And it's
Wow.
one thing I've had to learn with. So I love NFL. Absolutely love the NFL. And they have so many adverts that I had to turn it off until I was in a position where I felt strong enough to be
Yeah.
able to watch it, which is...
Because they don't recognise it out there.
No.
See, they don't recognise
No.
an addiction out there, really.
It's
No,
crazy.
you know, and you have things. What's the big one out there? Things like the DraftKings, and you have,
Fantasy leagues,
you know, when
and all
I,
this stuff.
you know, I've been a pro wrestling fan for over 30 years. But there was a period of time where WWE was actively promoting DraftKings,
yeah.
and you could bet on a predetermined
Yeah. You could
piece
bet on
of
heads or tails and...
sports
it's just
entertainment, and I
mad.
was just like, but like, surely that
It's a
there's
preset
something
script.
that can't be right, because
Yeah.
there are a group of, like, there's 2 seasons of a program on Netflix showing them creating storylines,
Yeah, script.
and pivoting and scripting,
Yeah.
and you're gonna put your money on whether you were right
Something that's
or not.
predetermined, yeah.
Wow.
With GA. So you attend
Twice a week.
twice a
As
week,
much as I can, yeah.
as much as you can.
Always
And it's-
one. At least one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but
that's
as much-
a non-negotiable, because it'll just it steadies the ship. And is it the case that you kind of use your experience now, and you're kind of a leading voice in these sessions, or do you just kind of turn up and...
Newport, yes, because it's very different. It depends who's there. Sometimes it's 2 of us, sometimes there's 9 of us, and there's new people in and out. And Newport's very, like, changes every week.
Yeah.
Cardiff's very stable.
Okay.
It's usually the same members most weeks, ranging from 3 months to 35 years bet free.
Wow.
So there I tend to take more from it than give more.
Yeah.
Whereas Newport now, I'm focusing on helping other people because I'm still so early in my own recovery.
Yeah.
Like, there was a guy the other day, 3 years, just had a mad gambling session, and I just think, you've just done 3 years, but that can happen at any point in time. There's been 10, 12 years. It's crazy.
Because that's what I was going to say, and it isn't a loaded question in the true sense. Does that scare you?
Yeah. So I was hell bent everything I went through and everything I lost, that it wouldn't happen to me, that I wouldn't get the inkling of wanting to gamble ever again. And I was so naive to it that on the 27th of January, I put myself in a hotel room because I just had enough of everything and trying to deal with everything. And I was there for 2 days. And on the second day, I was just like, started getting these feelings. And I was like, right, let me see if I can log in.
Oh.
Because I'd had an email saying there was money in my account.
Oh, shit.
So I was like, oh, there's money in my account. I'd already had all the things in place. I couldn't deposit. I couldn't withdraw because whoever has my bank could see it. But I started diverting. Right, if I open this bank account and then move this, that. Right, if I just do Apple Pay, there's no identity. And I started doing it, and I tried to deposit, and I was like, what am I doing? And I threw my phone, and I just cut myself out of it, and I messaged the GA group straight away, and they were like, we told you, see, it'll be with you forever. But it's how you control it.
Yeah.
And having these barriers in place, because there's probably about 20 barriers in place that you can have, slowed down that process for me. It made me think and take a long time, because if nothing was in place, I would have just done it and carried on.
Yeah, because I've always wondered that when you I got kind of what's the name? There's like a specific name.
GamStop or GamCare.
GamStop.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Where like I've got that in place, so I can't. And it's like
You can.
It isn't you can't. You can, because I always think to myself, well, what's stopping you from just
Going down the road or
Yeah.
driving to Cardiff.
Yeah.
or what? Like you said, people when they are driven or motivated, regardless of if it's good or bad motivation, when you're motivated, you'll be surprised what you'll do
For sure.
in order to do it. And as you said, like we set up a Monzo bank account, didn't we?
Yeah.
It took me something like 8 minutes to open a bank, whereas years ago you'd have to go up and you'd have to have an appointment in the bank, and you'd have to go and see someone and go to, why do you want to bank? Now you just literally you videoed yourself saying a code. Oh yeah, we'll check that. Oh yeah, you look alright.
Yeah.
And then but then you've got a new in.
Yeah. And I did that. I had 12 bank accounts with 12 different companies, because the levels of money I was spending, it didn't look normal to banks, so they would just close them down. They wouldn't look into your gambling or whatever, but they just go, no thank you. This level of 25, 26, 27 grand coming in, no thank you. Take your money, go to a different bank.
Well, I bought a new iPhone last week. They've switched now from Barclays credit thing to Creation, I think it's called. And literally I was like, I'm going to have to let's see if I can get a new phone, because the one blah blah blah. I literally went on there. They asked me a few questions. Didn't ask me my salary and my partner's salary. Put that in. Okay, done.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was ready to collect. So I went to Cardiff, walked in. You had to collect an order. Oh, let me scan your QR code. Beep. Having a conversation. Just, how was your day? Blah, blah, blah. Here's your phone, sir. Thank you very much. Bye.
And it's funny you say that, because that was one of my biggest funding
Apple.
Contracts.
Oh, contract. Oh, right, yeah.
So I managed to take out in total 54 phone contracts to sell the phones to gamble.
Oh, wow.
This was the level of I call it intelligence, because you become hyper intelligent to ways to find these money. And that was one of them, phone contracts.
So you would sell the phone?
Sell the phone that day, keep the contract, never pay the contract, but I'd have thousands of pounds off these devices.
Wow.
To gamble with, to hope that I could turn it
So
around.
what would the phone contract, the holder then come to you and say, you haven't paid, letter.
Debt, sell it to a debt company for half the price, and then I'd offer an amount and hopefully get rid of it when I win whatever amount.
Bloody hell.
It's a scary thing when you start doing these things.
You don't think, when people say I've got a gambling addiction, you just generally think you're addicted to going to a betting shop or
phones,
like you said,
laptops, PlayStations. I lost everything.
Because I know a boy who was, you mentioned about FIFA packs. And again, but it's that drive, isn't it? It's that drive of I need to keep going, because the next one's going to be the one.
Yeah, you look at Candy Crush, you've got to buy a chest to have an extra life. These things are just all the same.
Well, like they were saying when that one of the biggest kind of shifts in gaming was the introduction of games like Fortnite,
Call of Duty,
and
Warzone as
Call
well.
of Duty, because
Yeah.
now,
You're all V-Bucks and Roblox.
it's
Yeah.
free. Oh my god, that's amazing! It's free.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you want to be able to play and not like get killed every 2 seconds and actually enjoy the game, you're going to have to buy this and buy this and buy this.
Yeah.
And they're going to be new seasons, and you want
Yeah.
the new stuff in
And
the new
characters,
seasons.
and
Yeah.
That's what I mean. You know, so it is wild. So Mind
Over Mountain.
Over Mountain.
Yeah.
I suppose that's your recovery, isn't it? I suppose it's a tool for recovery and a tool to kind of give back and a tool to educate.
It's a bit of both. I see it as part of my recovery journey, but it holds me accountable.
You took the words out of my mouth.
A lot of people don't understand what I'm doing and why I'm outing myself in this way. Some people like to remain family and family only. But I've thought, if I can help one person, it's going to make a difference. Fantastic. But imagine that I had a really bad day and I was walking down the road and I was about to go in Betfred, and one of these, I've up to about 715 people now that see me. What does that look like?
Yeah.
And this holds me massively accountable.
Yeah.
And it prevents me from doing it. It gives me purpose. And you got to replace that hole.
Yeah.
That level of time you spend doing that thing that become a habit, you need to replace it with something, because you're just going to drive yourself crazy otherwise.
Yeah.
And look, I tried golfing. It cost money. I tried all these different things that were costing money. So I just thought, just get out, fresh air, bit of silence. But if you can get people with you and create a social circle and a community around it, let's do it. And that's where Old Drift reached out, saw what I briefly posted, and offered me the free session to get a bunch of strangers together and tell them my story.
Yeah.
And they've been awesome. We just done another one now with about 30 people, which was great. And the support that come from it has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I've just so many kind of initiatives, as it were, and or support, all these different things going on. Because I'm genuinely curious and I'm interested in people. But what really struck me, as I said to you, was the fact that before we'd even gone in, there was this bump, and I was like, whoa, okay, that's a lot. Okay, let's see where this goes. But then seeing how your openness, I think, helped the others that were there that day.
Yeah. Because
there were kind of pockets of people. There were 2 ladies, 2 young girls.
Yeah.
But, all. But then you could start seeing the openness and the sharing.
And the interest as well.
And the interest. And I think it's great. I really do. I think it's, and I think it's a real powerful thing that you're doing. And I think that if you never did another one, I think that you could safely think, you know what, I've helped a few people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, because we went to Starbucks after it, and in my I had meant to talk about like these walks I was doing at Pen y Fan, and some things we had planned, and we literally spent the entire 45 minutes in Starbucks talking about the previous hour and a half.
Yeah.
So it works. It is
does.
working. And you've been really fortunate, in some of the contacts you've got, some of the kind of endorsements and opportunities for giveaways, because it's enticing people in who maybe wouldn't normally go into that realm.
This has been controversial.
I can imagine
giveaways.
Because when you do giveaways, the instant thing is, what do they want?
Yes.
What are they trying to get off me? But if I'm correct in my assumption, which is it's just a vehicle,
it's engagement
to get eyes on
what I want to say,
the product, which is your story, and you helping people, and it's just a way you're doing it, and at the end of the day, you're not pushing, you're not shoving in terms of, I want X amount of money for a ticket. There's the offer, but there's never pushing.
No.
And I think if you were pushing, it would be a bit more.
What are you looking for?
What are you looking for?
Yeah.
But the fact that you are just listen. I've got this. I've got that.
Yeah.
And some people may not actually do anything else with you other than enter.
Yeah.
But like you said, if even from those entries you get one person who decides to scroll that little bit more,
Exactly.
past the hotel stay, past the iced coffee, what's this? Bam.
Yeah.
And they listen and it resonates, and then they go and tell someone.
That's why the 3 videos are pinned at the top.
Yeah.
Because the first thing you're going to see is that.
Is
And
why-
then you're going to look for the giveaway.
Yeah.
And every person who shares it to their story is another 2,000 people possibly seeing that,
Yeah.
who are not seeing it. So this was my reason behind it. And
And we get that.
yeah.
We
No,
do.
We
We do.
we
Yeah.
get that, like I said, because
Yeah.
we are so keen to get stories out there,
Yeah.
because stories matter, and what people has to say matters.
And
that's
everyone's going through something.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Every single person. That's the one thing
yeah.
I've learned. I thought it was just me. And I just thought, it's not.
No.
Let's just get out and talk about it.
And we meet so many different interesting people, and you were another one of them.
Yeah.
Interesting, amazing people.
Appreciate that.
and I'll be honest, because I'll hold my hands up, and you say yourself, but when I went to Old Drift, I hadn't watched any videos, so I didn't know that you were going to come out and say what you said.
Yeah.
But when you did come out and say it, as I've said multiple times, I was like, Christ,
Yeah.
okay. I think had I seen it before, I'd have been even more intrigued to think, right, okay, well, I'm going to go and see what he's all about, because I am known for that. Well, I'll go and I'll kind of prod and pause. Okay, so what's really going on?
Yeah.
But it comes from, we've had instances, and where there's other individuals, unfortunately, and it looks great on the surface, and you start digging, and there's some not so not so great reasons behind it. But I think what you're doing is really positive, and you are building a community.
Yeah, this is the thing. And like you say about my connections from the rugby, from different work environments, from the gambling community itself.
Yeah.
It's such a widespread community with all different people who are dealing with different things to come together. And we got a challenge coming up now in a couple of weeks where, luckily, I've joined with a company called Core Gym, which is a High Rocks gym, opened in Newport, and they have joined with me. And they're going to offer 25 people an introduction, because they don't want to be with a bunch of topless men who are lifting and screaming, and but they want to try the actual fitness side of it, which is amazing. And we're going to do an introduction for them, and then we're going to set a challenge on the hike to get 100 people on one hike, and
It'll be amazing.
It'll be absolutely incredible.
I got it. Even if you hit 15, if you hit 6, they great numbers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I would love to see it, because I think, like I said, it's you're turning negatives into positives.
Yeah.
But you're doing it in such a way that people will ask, so what's it all about then?
Yeah.
So why is he doing it? And then that's when you can come in and say, well, actually, this. Because, like I said, and I found it interesting, because, like, you've got an event coming up this weekend, which will happen by the time this happens. And will be a rip-roaring success, I've got no doubt. But have you had any, you mentioned, obviously, that you've done stints as a teaching assistant, and you've done bits about with all. But have you had any kind of experience in terms of, like, public speaking and that? Because I'll be honest, as someone who
likes to talk,
who does like to talk, and
in Lisbon,
and I've done presentations and this and that. I found it really interesting, because it felt very natural at Old Drift, but you could see it was very carefully, and it was like a storyteller. You have a real storyteller quality to you, because you kind of give everyone that taste, And then anyway, we're going to go and get trained. And I was like, what do you mean we're going to go? Whoa, no, a minute. Whoa, no, you can't just stop. And then he waited until he got in the sauna. It was like, right, part 2. And I was like, but it was such a different afternoon.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was good.
Fair play.
Did my teaching background, did the rugby coaching. I've always been a very out there person. To tell this story, I had to tell it in the GA room first, which gave me that comfort to do so. And like I said before, the fact you're all strangers, I don't have that initial... Because there's some people who are very sensitive in this story that don't want not be mentioned, do not want any part of it, do not want me going to my event now on Sunday and mentioning their name. So I've got to be very careful in what I say, how I say it, and my delivery of it.
It's like that Kelly Jones album, isn't it? Only the names have changed.
But yeah, the reason I want to do that, I want the questions to come. So I don't want to give it all, because I want the engagement. Yeah, I need the engagement. Because like you said, you go and talk about it after 45 minutes, and you probably had 10 questions on top of that.
But that's where people get their understanding. If you just machine gun at people, they like, oh, okay, and they'll absorb it. Yeah. But the understanding comes from this. And it's the engagement, it's the interaction.
The whole story is so much bigger, which is why I'm doing this event. Yeah. And it's going to be the story and recovery for people to understand here. Because I don't necessarily want to reach gamblers.
No, and that's you know, I said it for you. I do a lot with Merthyr Football Club.
Yeah.
And I've had Welsh League football clubs, and I used to do bits and bobs with engagement and that with them. And I always used to say, your target audience isn't the 1,300 people that come every week.
No,
it's or Welsh League. You know, it isn't the 50 men. You know, the one with the dog on the side who comes down every week and pays his tort. You're not after those. You're after the families, the young men, the couples, the women. You're after people who don't normally move in those circles.
That individual who's gambling is affecting at least 20 to 25 people around them. Yeah. And if they can start to identify the gambling traits and the reasons and the whys, then we can prevent that. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's the whole ethos of it now. Yeah. Is to reach everyone who isn't gambling. If I help the gamblers, that's amazing. They can come to GA. They can have the confidence to come with me and the tools, and I can help them in that way. But I need everyone to know why I did it. Yeah. And sadly, that question will never be answered from a psychological point of view. But what I can do is tell you how it started. Yeah. How it got so bad. Yeah. And then the personal traits.
Yeah. The identifiers. Yeah. And I suppose really the last question I've really got is kind of where do you see it going, or where do you want it to go? And by that, you know, because like in my head, because I run away quite a bit tonight, but in my head I'm already thinking like you should be going into schools, you should be talking to youth groups, you should be you should be targeting those individuals, because as you said, no, there isn't awareness over financial management or anything, you know, you just and if anything, there's lots of misconceptions, and you're taught from a young age, if you have an addiction, that's wrong, you know, you're wrong, that's wrong of you to do, and you're thinking, but there's so much more behind it. It you know, it doesn't mean the person's a bad person, they've just made some poor decisions.
Like 10% of me's a gambler and 90%'s the character, and that couldn't be more true. But I let that take over. And for me, I see it going. I've registered as a company now.
Okay.
I didn't know how I was going to do it. I'm not a businessman, but I've got a lot of support around me right now. It's great. So I've registered it. The whole getting a bank account was difficult, as you can imagine, with my status. But I want it to be a community interest company. I don't want profit from it. I've tried making money. It didn't work. That's not my interest now. My interest is to get people together, get outside their comfort zone, get their stories out there, get talking, just do as many activities with as many people as I possibly do. And my end goal is to open my own contrast wellness centre.
Nice.
Yeah. That's the end goal.
My sort of last question then is, would you want your story to reach as high as it can go in the realm of the gambling companies?
I don't think they'll ever change. There's a lot more they can do now that they're not doing. There's too much money involved.
I'm going to say it's not in their interest, is it?
It's not in their interest.
From a profit, and that's the thing.
And you've also got to flip it and remember it's only the compulsive gamblers that got the problem. It's not everyone else.
No.
But they could do more for them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and there's always a reason, isn't there? There's always an excuse. And by that, because you're one of the fortunate individuals where, yes, you've been compulsive, yes, you've gambled and you've accrued thousands and thousands of pounds of debt, but you're still very mature and you're on a road to recovery.
Yeah.
There's other people who don't win that battle and it does get too much and they aren't here anymore.
Yeah.
But if you try and put that to a gambling company and say, listen, we've got X amount of deaths here and we can see that the major triggers were gambling related, they'll turn around and say, well, we put that advert out when the fun stopped.
And the sad thing is now that gambling has more suicides than both combined, drugs and alcohol combined.
Well, that's where the thing was, it's a lot. I think a lot of these people take alcohol and drug addiction more seriously than gambling because I generally don't think they know that the gambling side is worse. I'm not saying an addiction is worse. Addiction is addiction.
No, it is. But like when you drink or you do drugs, it's very identical. You can identify it.
Yeah.
You can see it. At some point, you're gonna pass out. At some point, you're gonna be hospitalized.
Yeah.
You're not with gambling.
No.
It doesn't stop. You don't sleep. It
you
does
can
not
do it anywhere.
stop.
You can do gambling anywhere.
Anytime, for as long as you want. You can sign up to as many different things as you want. You can put all these barriers in place. You can walk down the street. You've got 4 different shops.
And you can still do it.
And you can still do it.
Well, like at the end
and
of
the casinos are 24/7 for a reason.
Exactly.
And you're right now because at the end of the day you could turn around and you could be tanked up on drink or you could be on God knows what drugs and you turn up to work and you're slurred in, you're falling over the place, your eyes are wild, you're twitchy, you've taken something.
Yeah.
You could then walk past that individual and you've just bet however many hundreds of pounds and they will just let you walk back as you look normal. Yeah,
and it goes in hand. You are pissed, you are off your face. Nothing is open when you're walking down the street at 3 o'clock except a casino.
An arcade shop, a casino.
It's mad. It is. You've opened my eyes to that today, and it's. Yeah. I didn't realise how much of a black hole you can go down. And I think telling your story is incredible.
Thank you.
And if it does reach 1 or 1,000 or 1,000,000, it's going to help someone.
That's the whole point.
Definitely.
Can you imagine when you do a hike with 1,000,000 people?
Oof. Imagine that one.
You have to have some iced coffee for that.
And on that note, I think it's time to
wrap. So where can people, obviously, for start, where can people find you online if they want to?
Yeah, so I'm only on Instagram at the moment. Solely focused on that. It's Mind Over Mind in 2026. The following's going great. Everyone's interacting. You'll see all the events on there. Everything that's up and coming. The giveaways we'll still be doing. And that's where you'll find me.
Yeah. So go and give them a follow. It will change your mind. It will not change your mind. It will open your mind then to a whole new world of gambling and addiction. And I think it's incredible.
Yeah, I agree. Is there anyone as well specifically, because I know you've got a lot of partnerships or whatever, anyone specifically you want to give a plug or a shout out?
There's been so many. Obviously I've been given so much for the giveaways and stuff like that, and gym memberships with Core and Fitness Fusion, and we're currently working with the Cold Blood and Hotel out in Usk.
Nice.
They want to house us there and have some things going on there function wise, and they want to build a whole wellness place and out there, which would be incredible. We got Solar Water, and they're supplying all the water, and Jimmy's Iced Coffee, and they've just been throwing stuff at us. And Mark's been trying to get a few, but
I do love it.
I got some in the car park from today, so he's all right. But no, honestly, it's just been overwhelming.
Yeah,
and channel it. But no, I appreciate you both for what you've done today as well.
Thank you for coming on, bud. Thank you.
Oh.
And yeah, another one done.
Another one done. We know where to find us.
We say it.
We'll be here.
What?
We'll be here.
We will be here.
Lisbon.
I would go back to Lisbon. I thought it was rope beans, but that'll be the next episode. There'll be a one-off episode, which is just me in a room.
I'm not editing that one.
It'll be a live stream. First live stream.
But you know where to find us. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. Just One Man Podcast. Give us a follow, like, subscribe. It does go a long way, and I guess us talking to amazing people like yourself, and getting the stories out and getting them heard. So, yeah, thank you very much again for watching and listening, and we shall see you
next time.
Bye bye.
I'm going now.
Okay, bye.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.